Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Kendra Cook. The Dolores County Broadcasting Network is the producer of DCTV with support from the Southwest TV Translator Association.
If you have a news topic or tips you'd like to see covered, give us a call. The studio number is 677-4119.
Today's show runs Tuesday at noon and is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired on Friday at noon, 3 and 6. Today is December 26, 2017. And now the news at noon.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, on September 14th, Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue officially declared that the 2017 fire season was the Forest Service's most expensive ever, with costs topping $2 billion. Perdue noted that fire suppression, which accounted for just 16% of the agency's budget in 1995, now takes up over 55%. The Forest Service's fire funding is subject to a budget cap based on the average cost of wildfire suppression over the last 10 years. But even as that average increases, the agency's overall budget remains relatively flat. So, when costs go higher, the agency, in a practice known as fire borrowing, must pull from funds intended for other programs, including those that help reduce fire danger, like prescribed burns, thinning, and insect control. This vicious cycle has continued for years. Simpson and others hope that this year's intense season, which burned more than 8.5 million acres, will motivate fellow lawmakers to pass legislation. In 2009, the Federal Land Assistance Management and Enhancement FLAME Act established emergency reserves for the Forest Service and the Interior Department for fighting major fires. But FLAME has been underfunded and fire borrowing has continued. Since then, despite bipartisan bicameral agreement that this increasingly urgent problem must be resolved, other efforts to do so have stalled out in Congress, mainly because lawmakers disagree about where the money should come from and what, if any, Forest Service management provisions should be attached to the funding fix. Congress has considered two main options: increase the budget cap and using Federal Emergency Management Agency funds. The Wildfire Disaster Funding Act, introduced in the House by Simpson and Representative Kurt Schrader, a Democrat of Oregon, and in the Senate by Senator Ron Wyden, Democrat of Oregon, and Senator Mike Crapo, Republican of Idaho, takes the first approach. Currently, the Forest Service and the Interior Department are the only federal entities that must fund disasters through their discretionary budgets rather than from an emergency fund.
The Dolores Town Board passed the 2018 budget recently. This is reported by the Journal out of Cortez. The budget is based on an estimated income of $921,731 derived from utility fees, grants, property taxes, and sales taxes. Total expenses to operate administration, streets, water, and sewer enterprises are estimated to be at $960,462, but there is enough in reserves to cover the difference. A major recent expense was for a $180,000 price for a new road grader to replace an old one that can no longer be repaired. Maintenance on the 4th Street Bridge is expected to cost about $35,000. The town is also earmarking $33,000 in matching funds towards a future grant for a new playground. Town revenues have dropped since 2016 due to less sales tax and a reduction in mineral lease and severance tax revenues. Sales taxes dropped from $351,437 in 2016 to an estimated $300,000 for 2017, according to the released budget. Sales taxes are estimated to stay at $300,000 for 2018. 2 restaurants, a liquor store, and a coffee shop closed in 2017. The depressed oil and gas industry has also impacted the budget. The town's share of mineral leases went from $76,341 in 2016 to $31,000 in 2017 and is expected to drop down to $25,000 for 2018. The town's share of severance taxes derived from oil and gas production in the state is also dropping, going from $10,000 in 2015 to just under $5,000 in in 2016 to an estimated $3,500 in 2017. Severances taxes are expected to bring in $3,000 for 2018. But on the brighter side, several new businesses did open in the town, including the 302 Thrift Shop, the Motorhead Doctor, Silver Sparrow Designs, Doc's Outfitters, and Travel Host Four Corners. Plus, there will be a new medical clinic opening soon by Southwest Health Systems. Also included in the 2018 budget is a 3% cost of living raise for 2018. Quote, "We have an excellent staff who work hard, work together well, and have a lot of expertise," said Town Manager Lana Hancock.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, northern Arizona has missed out on a white Christmas, and if the lack of snowfall continues, scientists say there will likely be more far-reaching effects on the region's pine trees. Without enough winter moisture, scientists tell the Arizona Daily Sun that trees will be more susceptible to bark beetles and disease, all of which lead to tree mortality. This is super dry for us, so if it continues, there's going to be a lot of concerns, I'm sure, said John Anhold, a forest entomologist with the U.S. Forest Service. The latest drought maps show drought and abnormally dry conditions have taken hold of significant portions of the Four Corners region of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Utah. With the exception of Colorado, the other states are worse off now than they were at this time last year. For Flagstaff, the below-normal precipitation expected for this winter will also affect the city's water sources and supply balance going into next year, while the dry weather has already been a game-changer for prescribed burn operations this fall. The Coconino National Forest has allowed crews to do low-intensity understory burns on about 50% more acreage than normal, said Victor Morfin, the forest's fuels specialist. The fuels were already so dry in October that crews had to switch to burning at night when relative humidity is higher to prevent the fire from getting too hot, he said. The Forest Service is taking a break from prescribed burning over the holidays, but if the weather continues to be warm and dry, Morfin said the agency will ramp up burning again in January.
From Salt Lake City, a federal judge has handed down new voting districts to replace those declared discriminatory against American Indian voters in southeastern Utah, but a prominent county commissioner said Friday that the county plans to appeal. The new election districts are designed to give an equal voice in local races to American Indian residents who make up about half of the population. Mark Maryboy called them a well-deserved victory that comes after a half-century of struggle. It means a great socioeconomic development for the Navajo people in San Juan County, said Maryboy, who is Navajo and a former county commissioner. Navajos make better county officials, he said. I don't think Navajos will discriminate against the white county population. San Juan County Commissioner Phil Lyman, though, said the changes unfairly carve up the county's largest city into 3 districts. Quote, "It's unnecessary to divide up a town like that," Lyman said. "It's intended to harm Blanding." The Navajo Nation, which covers parts of Arizona and New Mexico as well as Utah, sued the county in 2012. They said school board and county commission districts were racially gerrymandered. U.S. District Judge Robert Shelby declared the boundaries unconstitutional last year and later rejected new maps drawn by both sides. The judge appointed an independent expert and personally ran public meetings to hear local feedback before handing down the new boundaries on Thursday. Ethel Branch, Navajo Nation's Attorney General, called it a hard-fought victory that remedies long-standing injustices against Navajo voters. These boundaries are fair and ensure Navajo votes will matter, Branch said. We really look forward to what the elections will bring in terms of truly representative leadership. Members of the Navajo Nation also filed another election lawsuit over a decision to close polling places and move to a mail-in ballot system. They say it put them at a disadvantage because the postal service on the Navajo Nation is unreliable. Not all Navajos can read English, and they'd have to travel more than twice as far as white residents if they wanted to vote in person. San Juan County previously settled U.S. Department of Justice claims that it denied American Indians an equal opportunity to participate in the political process in the 1980s.
According to the Cortez Journal, when Kitty Benzar bought her house in Colorado's San Juan National Forest 30 years ago, federal law prohibited land management agencies from charging people to use undeveloped public lands like those in her backyard. Fees for developed campsites, public cabins, and access to certain national parks and monuments were legal and widely accepted. But if a trailhead or backcountry site offered only a toilet, a picnic table, or drinking water, the 1965 Land and Water Conservation Act required that it be free. That changed with the Recreation Fee Demonstration Program in 1996, which allowed agencies to start charging for day use. But the new regulations didn't directly affect Benzar until 5 years later, when the U.S. Forest Service began charging $5 to access a trailhead in Yankee Boy Basin, a high alpine bowl not far from her house. Benzar and about 35 others protested the fee, not because they couldn't afford it, but because Benzar says they felt it was part of a broader effort to monetize our public lands and turn recreation into a product to sell us. Today, access to Yankee Boy Basin is free, but Benzar hasn't stopped fighting. As president of the Western Slope No Fee Coalition, she battles other fee hikes that she believes are contrary to the spirit of public lands. Few such proposals have troubled Benzar more than the U.S. Department of the Interior's October 24th call to dramatically raise entrance fees at 17 popular national parks, in some cases from $25 to $70 per car. The National Park Service says the hike could raise $70 million a year to chip away at a $12 billion backlog of deferred maintenance on roads and buildings. Proponents claim it's a necessary step forward ensuring the future of chronically underfunded public lands. But fee watchdogs and many conservation groups see it as simply another example of a dangerous trend. Federal lands run less like a public resource and more like a commercial enterprise. And now let's take a look at the weather.
As we head into 2018 with our eyes hopefully open wider, we're sure to unveil more about the essence of our unique weather patterns that are noticeably different from decades past. It may just be possible that every cloud has a silicon lining. We'll be looking at the new weather, quote, forecasting technology from Raytheon, best known for being one of the major global military defense contractors. They are the company contracted by NOAA and the NWS to provide the data to bring you the weather. So nationally, we've been looking at, again, some strange patterns of that mass of cold air across the middle of the U.S., with snow pushing along the front edge of that slow-moving, low-pressure system, creating potential for rain and snow in the northwest and also through the Rust Belt and over the Great Lakes. Rain is still the word of the day around the Gulf Coast states as the rest of the country is back to the very dry weather pattern. Regionally, the update is that the snowfall over the northern Colorado mountains will continue gradually decreasing through the day, so the winter weather advisory issued for Colorado Zone 4 has already expired. Northwest winds will keep snowfall potential over northwest-facing slopes from Aspen north to the Colorado and Wyoming border. Aerial coverage and intensity will decrease throughout the day and end this evening. Overnight and Wednesday, the dry pattern once again sets in. The odd persistent models all show an upper-level long wave ridge over the west coast, which will continue to steer any significant Pacific moisture into the Pacific Northwest and over the northern Rockies. While some of this moisture will ride the jet stream southeast over the north central Rockies, with all of the mountain ranges between the northwest coast and Colorado taking their cuts, northern Colorado will be left with only light precipitation, if any. One such round will be ongoing Wednesday night, but quickly ending Thursday. At this point, it's hard to see any snow making it farther south than Vail Pass, and scattered snow showers that do occur will be hard-pressed to produce more than 1 to 2 inches. Which brings us to our local 5-day DCTV forecast system. Today, it's mostly sunny with a high near 45, southeast winds around 5 miles an hour, becoming west in the afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 24 degrees with an east wind around 5. Then Wednesday, sunny with a high near 47, southeast winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, becoming south-southwest in the afternoon. Wednesday night, partly cloudy with a low around 22, east winds around 5 miles an hour. Thursday, again sunny with a high near 49, east-northeast winds around 5, becoming northwest in the afternoon. Thursday night, mostly clear with a low down to 23. Friday, again sunny with a high near 51. Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 24. Saturday, sunny with a high near 51 again. Saturday night, partly cloudy down to 24. Sunday, sunny with a high near 49. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low around 23. And again, for New Year's Day, we're taking a look at the same pattern heading into 2018 with mostly sunny, dry days ahead. Monday will be sunny with a high near 47. And now, back to the news.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, a management plan for a variety of recreational uses in the Hermosa Creek watershed has officially been finalized, the U.S. Forest Service announced Wednesday. The announcement is significant as Congress, when it passed the legislation in 2014, gave the agency 3 years to come up with the plan. The management plan will spell out the uses for the protected area, such as when seasonal wildlife closures will be enacted, as well as when and where mountain bikes and motor vehicles can travel. The Hermosa Creek watershed protection legislation was the result of a robust grassroots nonpartisan movement that began in 2006 with a diverse range of public land users seeking the same goal: to find a balanced approach to protecting the land. After years of conversations between hunters and anglers, snowmobilers, water districts, environmentalists, mountain bikers, and mining industry representatives, to name a few, a deal was reached. In December 2014, the Hermosa Creek Act easily passed the U.S. Senate on an 89-11 vote. With President Barack Obama's subsequent signature, the bill set aside 37,400 acres as a wilderness area and 70,600 acres as a special management area around Hermosa Creek north of Durango. However, the U.S. Forest Service was tasked with drafting a management plan that held to the spirit of compromise that got the bill passed. For the past few years, the Forest Service has collected thousands of public comments on what people would like to see in the newly protected area. An environmental analysis and decision notice the Forest Service released gives an indication about the many land uses in the Hermosa Creek watershed. However, it's unclear until the final plan is released in January how issues were resolved from the last round of public comments this fall.
The Journal from Dolores, the town, writes that a bill to name two 13,000-foot peaks in the Wilson Range in memory of two mountaineers from Norwood has passed the U.S. House by a vote of 409-0. Introduced by U.S. Representative Scott Tipton, Republican from Cortez, the Fowler and Boscoff Peaks Designation Act honors climbers Charlie Fowler and Christine Boscoff, who were killed in an avalanche in 2006. They were attempting to summit Genyan Peak in Tibet. The Senate companion bill, SB 1271, was introduced by U.S. Senators Cory Gardner and Michael Bennet on May 30th and has received a legislative hearing in a Senate Energy and Natural Resources Subcommittee on Public Lands, Forests, and Mining. Charlie and Christine were celebrated mountaineers, but they were also known for their tireless advocacy for human rights, dedication to philanthropy, and stewardship of the environment, said Tipton. Through the designation of these peaks, their legacy and life's work will live on for generations to come. Bennett added, not only were Charlie and Christine two of the most accomplished climbers in the world, but they also were integral members of our Southwest Colorado community. Throughout their careers, they were always giving back, mentoring students and introducing people to their love of climbing. Steve Johnson, Fowler's good friend and climbing partner, told the Journal he has been working toward naming the peaks after the well-known local climbers for years. After running into the bureaucracy of naming the peaks through the U.S. Board of Geographic Names, he decided to give Tipton a call to see if he could make it happen through federal legislation, and found a key partner. Johnson and Fowler worked on access issues together, including for Wilson Peak around a private mine, put up first accents on local crags, and served on San Miguel search and rescue together. Charlie and Chris supported wild areas and climbing adventures, and these peaks represent that, said Johnson, a Telluride attorney. The bill highlights the growing role of recreation in our public lands and adventurous spirit of western Colorado. Fowler was a well-loved ultimate dirtbag climber who eventually reached the pinnacle of the sport, Johnson said. He traveled the world on mountaineering adventures with Boscoff, returning home to climb with locals and promote the sport. He built the first climbing walls in Norwood, Ridgeway, and Telluride, and developed new climbing routes in the area. Johnson said he was really inspiring and treated local climbing partners like equals. He also had a real affinity for people and would come back with amazing photographs of locals from faraway mountain regions. The peaks are located in the Uncompahgre National Forest near Navajo and Elk Basins, about 10 miles southwest of Telluride. They are partly in the Lizard Head Wilderness area, which is here in Dolores County. The mountains offer many opportunities for non-technical recreational climbing and hiking.
According to the Cortez Journal, new U.S. Census figures showed Colorado had the country's 8th fastest growing population this year. The Denver Post reported Wednesday that Colorado added more than 77,000 residents this past year, bringing its total population to just over 5.6 million as of July 1st. The census estimates that about 30,000 of those residents came from natural increases, or the difference between births and deaths. The remainder is estimated to have come from net migration, or the difference between people moving into the state and those leaving it. The influx of residents was lower than last year when the state's population increased by 90,000. The census found the states with the top population growth between July 2016 and July 2017 were Idaho, Nevada, and then Utah.
Western Colorado officials say they have the perfect place if the Federal Bureau of Land Management decides to move its Washington, D.C. headquarters closer to the vast lands the agency administers. That's Western Colorado. This, as written up by the Denver Post, executive director of the Associated Governments of Northwest Colorado, told the Grand Junction Daily Sentinel, quote, "My greatest fear is that we will wake up to an announcement and we're not ready for it." Bonnie Peterson said, "If we don't do something to pull together a proposal, we could lose out. That includes potential competition from Colorado's more populous Front Range that straddles the eastern slopes of the Continental Divide." Quote, "I've heard from a number of Front Range communities saying we should have that here," Peterson said. Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, a former U.S. representative from Montana, has broached the idea of a westward move. The BLM manages nearly 400,000 square miles of public land. Its headquarters staff numbers 600. More than 8,000 agency employees work in the field. Colorado Republican U.S. Senator Cory Gardner and Representative Scott Tipton have introduced legislation urging the Interior Department to move the agency to a western state. Gardner told the Sentinel it's about, quote, "better decision making and to break it away from the Washington power monopoly." Both have noted that western Colorado's Mesa County and the city of Grand Junction are logical locations. The BLM administers about 45% of Mesa County, which encompasses about 3,340 square miles. The nearby city of Montrose is interested, though nothing formal is in the works, said Sandy Head, executive director of the Montrose Economic Development Corporation. Other articles online indicate the possible relocation to Denver or Salt Lake City. We'll keep you updated as this issue progresses in the press.
According to the Cortez Journal, Durango Adult Education Center held its high school equivalency program graduation ceremony December 19th at Durango Public Library, and 62-year-old Cortez resident Ed Letman, after waiting 44 years, was finally able to walk across the stage to complete his high school education. In August, Durango Adult Education Center expanded its high school equivalency and English as a second language programs to Cortez, as a response to requests and thanks to a 3-year grant supplied by the State of Colorado Adult Education Literacy Act. Letman, after he completed coursework and passed a high school equivalency test, was among the first to graduate from the Cortez site. As an impulsive teen, Letman was 2 weeks away from a high school diploma when he was abruptly expelled. He managed to support himself without the school credential, but, like millions of baby boomers, found that the modern work environment was a challenge to navigate. Though, even with limited career options, Letman adapted. "In the past, I never had trouble getting a job, always required work or experience," Letman said. "I never needed the diploma, but in today's world, it is very important." Letman survived a nearly fatal head injury 30 years ago and has dealt with chronic pain and surgeries since. At first, he had doubts about entering the modern classroom, but he was successful thanks to his instructors at the center's Cortez site.
Today's High Canyon Country happenings, December 27th in Telluride. The Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's John McEwen and his String Wizards will play the historic Sheridan Opera House on Wednesday. McEwen has assembled a unique cast for a special night to share the music and memories of the landmark Will the Circle Be Unbroken platinum album and the Nitty Gritty Dirt Band's incredible career. His multimedia show with archival photographs, film circle session photos, including 8mm footage from 1967, narrative and music of early NGDB, takes us on their incredible 50-year journey, interwoven with dirt band favorites, hot bluegrass, and rare early NGDB music. Tickets are $35, $40, and $45. Reserve seats with a $4 ticketing fee that applies at all sales outlets. So now that all the Christmas-related events have come and gone, we delve straight into a lingering sense of contemplation over how the past year went and look forward to everything better for 2018. With that comes a ton of New Year's Eve parties all across the region. Here are a few near us. The State Line Bar and Grill west of Dove Creek is having their New Year's Eve bash Sunday, December 31st. It will start around 9 p.m. $5 per person at the door. The money will benefit the Dove Creek Volunteer Fire Department. DJ Mr. Soul will be there for dancing and karaoke. Party favors, champagne toast at midnight, drink specials, and a free shuttle for a safe ride. Call them at 970-677-2749 for more information. In Cortez, the Angels End Zone is hosting a New Year's Eve party from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. at 309 North Broadway. And in Mancos, the Motones and Genuine Cowhide, two bands twice the fun, will be playing you into the new year at the Columbine with champagne toast at midnight. This also starts at 9 p.m. and runs to 1 a.m. And all of these happenings are posted on our DCTV News at Noon Facebook page, along with the YouTube replays, weather, and original stories and local posts. To share your event or information, contact us. It's dcbnnews@gmail.com or call the station at 970-677-4119, and we'll be sure to get your news on the air.
Thanks for tuning in. News at Noon airs at noon Monday through Wednesday and then is rebroadcast at 3 and 6 p.m. and again re-aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 3, and 6.
And be sure to check us out on Facebook. It's DCTV News at Noon. Please like us there and share it with a friend.
For Kendra Cook with DCTV and the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.